What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. We got an interesting one today. I was cruising around on the internet and I came across a guitar effects pedal video with a dude that's got a line selector, basically a mixer for pedals. So he's taken multiple different pedals and he's using the line selector, and instead of stacking pedals how we normally stack pedals, you plug one into the next one and we set them up how we want them to be arranged. Basically starting with distortion, ending with your noise gate, putting your reverb, your delays and stuff at the end. That makes the distortion go through the reverb and the delays and all that kind of stuff. If you stack them, one sound goes through the other. Now, depending upon what order you put them in, depends upon how the sounds come out. So you can stack things different ways to get different effects. Works great. Been doing it for decades. That's the way pretty much most everybody does it. This, on the other hand, is one of them little trickies that you can definitely have fun with. Because what dude's doing is he's taking a line selector and he's taking two pedals and blending them together. Basically, the line selector is sending two signals to the amp. You've got, if you're doing like a clean and a distortion, or a fuzz and an overdrive, or whatever, delays, whatever pedals you want to stack, you're running them in parallel to the amp, so both signals are getting to the amp, and the line selector is literally tweaking how it blends in. So basically, the rabbit hole I just thought of was, if you've got 16 pedals, get a 16-channel mixer, plug all the pedals into the mixer. You're not going to use all 16 pedals. I typically use 2 to 3 pedals at a time, maybe 4. That's about it. The flanger, the stereo phaser, the delays, the chorus, all those pedals sometimes get blended in with distortions or overdrives. That way I've got a really neat effect. Now, putting all these into a mixer, you got your 4 pedals you want to use. You use the faders on the mixer to blend everything together. Crazy concept. This is an insane rabbit hole that I just came down. Now, I do have mixers that I can use to try this. At this point, I've got 16-ish pedals. I've got a 16-channel mixer. So we're going to get into this and see what kind of neat thing we can do with this. Now, how I'm going to be sending a single guitar signal to all these individual pedals on the ends, I haven't figured that one out yet. Because literally, the line selector, you've got your one in, you've got return and sends, and you can loop stuff, and you can do it off of one in. It's powering 2-3 different pedals. That's how the line selector works. With a mixer, depending on what kind of mixer you have, it's not like you can have 16 sends coming out of your guitar. You're going to have to find something to break up that one guitar signal. Now, we're going to go on eBay and see if we can find some kind of snake that does a 1 in to however many difference. If we can find one of those, we'll put that up there. The solution will be found, because this is kind of a really neat rabbit hole that I really want to dive down into further. Right now, we're going to check out what Dude's got to say, because this is some kind of neat stuff. We're going to do a basic show you on what's going on.
Clean blend everything. Okay, so for this example, we're just going to use a good old-fashioned BOSS Super Overdrive SD1. We're going to run it into the A channel, and then we're just going to run clean in the B channel. So let's kick this thing on. We'll just have both volumes at 50%. That means they're both.
See, with this pedal, you've got a green and red volume selector. So you've got 2 different faders, basically. They're faders for a mixer. This is basically a pedal mixer.
The same thing. The SD1 is off, so we're going to get a clean signal coming out of both channels right now, and it just sounds like this. And then if we kick on the overdrive, you'll hear the clean signal and the overdrive together, which sounds like. And then if we roll the overdrive out, can kind of hear that kicking in. So it's a great way to kind of get your overdrive sustain, but still keep that attack, okay? We roll out the clean. See how we lose some of that attack. So this is really made popular with the
I do this with my microphones when I record guitars. I've got an Audix F12 and the SM57 on my guitar amp. And I'll take those two faders and blend them because the two microphones give off a different signal. They hit the tones at different ranges, and I've also got them in different spots on the speaker. Now, you move the microphone around on the speaker, you're going to get different tone shifts also. So I've got the two microphones in two different spots on the speakers. I blend them on the mixer, and that's pretty much how I get that kind of effect, is I'll blend the two in together, and we'll get a good blend between the two different tones, but we're still stacking all of the guitar pedals. We're not separating them like this guy is doing. And I want to try it with a mixer. We just need to figure out how to do it. And it's going to take a lot of chords. This is going to be messy. You know, a lot of people wonder why I don't throw things away. Well, this 16 channels. And yep, we're going to plug pedals into it, and we're going to see how this thing works, because I really like the idea of being able to have them in parallel and blend them together as I need. I've got the room in the desk for a secondary mixer. I've already got it set, so why not?
Okay, so what ends up happening a lot of times, right, is you'll have those tails.
I've never used this pedal before. I don't know what it sounds like.
Run like a delay. Those would run into the reverb and it would just become a mess. But since we're running these in parallel, you can do things like
the blending feature is where it really comes in trick, because you can have multiple different sounds going at one time, blend everything together. If you want more highs, you can change the highs a little bit. A lot of mixers have EQs in them with high, mid, and low, so you can kind of tweak that on the mixer. All right, couple things. I looked around and could not find any kind of chord splitter, and I found out why. Found another video. This dude has worked with Boss pedals. It's JHS pedals. He's got his own pedal company, builds and designs pedals. And he said run them in parallel. It's something that studios have been doing for a long time. Now, he's got a cool little box that he made. One in, two out. So you can do two pedals in parallel. And if you want, you can stack the signals on their own parallel line, which is actually kind of neat. So we're going to pull a couple little clips out of this video so that you guys can see, yes, he says flat out, do not run an analog signal. You want to have a powered signal. So that's something that's going to be kind of important. We need to find out how to get a powered signal to all of the pedals, because we're not going to be doing, we're taking this rabbit hole to another level, because why not? We're going to try and get each pedal on its own channel, kind of like I have my drums. The drums are all on their own channel. The drums, I went to the extent that they're all on their own limiter, gate, compressor, and all of that stuff. Each chain and EQ, each chain has its own set of devices. Preamp, EQ, limiter, gate, compressor, all of it. All on one channel, bang, drums all dialed in. That way, by the time it hits the mixer and it gets to the interface or the computer, by the time it's recorded, it's all pretty much processed and done. The advantage I have is I don't move anything. This is all for you guys. I don't have to move anything. I don't go anywhere. Anything that I have is set up. It's static. I can tune it, get it all set, turn it on. It's all ready to go. I can record. We're going for efficiency and neat outside of the box things. making a pedal board, something that everybody does. Making a pedal board that can be mixed and each sound carries its own wave, it's not interfered with by the other pedals, that makes a whole other level of cool effects. This is some really neat stuff.
For decades and decades, guitar players, especially in the studio, have a secret. It's not really done on our typical pedal boards that we all use because it can seem a little complicated when in reality it's not. It's running your effects in parallel instead of in series. Most everyone on earth, including me, builds a pedal board and we hook up our pedals in series. That just means one pedal into the next pedal into the next pedal. When you go in series and multiple pedals are on, all of those pedals are reacting to each other, and in reality, if you have 3 pedals on, that makes a new pedal. They're all playing off of each other. No effect is isolated or truly itself in a series pedal board.
And that is one of the biggest things. Like you said, 3 pedals together, you pretty much have a new pedal. You've got this crazy new sound that's been affected by all 3 pedals, not individually tuned and mixed. Next level stuff.
That's good. There's a lot of famous sounds that way, and we're used to it. It's a wonderful thing. But paralleling your effects is a whole other ballgame because nothing touches. No pedal influences another pedal. They are completely separated and independent sonically of each other, and you can get some really cool effects that you've never heard before, or effects that you've heard before and never realized how they were doing it. Today I'm going to demonstrate some different effect types that are popular to put in parallel, and I'm going to start with overdrive and distortion. This one's really popular, so much so that when I collaborated with Boss on the JB2 with the Angry Charlie circuit combined with their blues driver, one of the most popular settings is the parallel mode. That's why people love this pedal, because you can put a blues driver in parallel with my high gain Marshall thing, and it creates a very interesting, unique overdrive distortion sound that you don't really get when you're running in series. So let's do that manually, and I'm going to show you on the top-down camera, and I'm just going to hook this up first of all and let you understand the signal flow. It's really, really simple. To do this, you need 2 devices, and we make both of these devices. One is the buffered splitter. This little device simply splits your input cable. It makes it 2 outputs. You can use this for a lot of stuff, but we're not.
This is a device you need. We got to figure out how to make it go more outputs. How do we get powered output to 16 pedals?
Get into that. If you're curious
or more
about either of these after this episode, the website describes how to use them. There's a link in the description to go check out each one of these. But guitar goes in, and you now have 2 outputs instead of 1 output. This is the summing amplifier, or the summing amp as we call it, and it does the opposite. It takes in 2 things and sums them perfectly into 1. So inside of these 2 devices, you build a little ecosystem.
In this case, basically, the volume knobs on the pedals are the mixer knobs. When you adjust the volume on the pedal, you get your output change.
That runs both pedals at the same time, but doesn't let them touch. The JCM 800 in a box, kind of a Marshall sound, the Angry Charlie. I'm gonna go out of this other output. Now this is weird. You don't think like this when you're building a pedal board, but I promise it's gonna come together and be really cool. Now, why do you need a box to do this? Well, some of you are thinking, I'll just get a cable splitter and like buy it at Radio Shack and shove it in the inputs. You don't want to do that. This is electronic, it's a circuit, it keeps everything isolated, it keeps the noise down. The same for this. You don't want to do this passively because the pedals are going to sound like garbage and you're going to have lots of problems. So
it's not a powered circuit, it's just a circuit. Might sound like a dumb idea, but I've got a patch bay. I wonder if we can loop one in, loop through the top, connect them all, and then outs through the bottom. We don't have enough cables. We do not have enough cables. All right, let's. So
that's our input. Now we need to get.
Okay, so basically that's what I was trying to get from him. Now this is kind of cool because he starts playing with chorus and flanger and delays and gets some really neat stuff, and then goes all fuzzy. Here we go. You got the delay, fuzzy delay, and then you've got a clean fuzzy delay. Contradiction is so cool.
That is very cool. That's bizarre. It's wild.
Yeah, we need to figure this out. Quick like, well, not quick like, but yeah. Check this out. I mean, let me know down in the comments below. I'm kind of rolling as I'm making the video. I'm kind of rolling through ideas because this is a brand new rabbit hole that I've not ever really thought about. The simplest way to do it, I can do really easily, but we're not going for super simple. We're going for how can we do this and make it work and work really well. So, yep. Got to figure out where to set up the mixer. And actually, I've got the mixer down here. I don't have the pedals over here. They're all over there. So yeah, that's it. Yay. Sometimes things get moved around for the experiments, and then they end up staying that way. All right, so we're going to go in a little bit deeper into this in future videos. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Like button. If you've made it to the end, go ahead, throw a comment down in there, like a 50. Show engagement. Comment what you think about it. Have you tried running things in parallel? Have you tried running them in series? Were you guys playing guitars? What are you guys doing? Bass, keyboards. I mean, you can add effects on pretty much anything. So if you're using effects pedals, how are you using them? Have you ever tried doing anything crazy? Like I said, we're going to get into future videos, and we're going to hook up. I've got a cheap Chinese 16-channel mixer. We're going to see what happens, how it works, how everything's going. Really appreciate everybody. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.